Hey everyone, thanks for joining us tonight.
Okay, I'm super, super excited about this, you guys. So tonight I get to introduce Angie and Brizzetti, Diamond Brand Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide, and I am so excited and so proud of my sweet friend. She and I have done this together for 9 years. Like we have literally taken this journey together. And so, my goodness, like when I think back and just Angie and who she is, I mean, she's been a diamond long before she got the title. I'll just say it, okay? She's been up at night with people not on her downline. Like she's been on the phone with sidelines or Zoom, helping them close out the month. She's done that for a long time with different people. And so it just shows like her character, her love. I think through like just how she's been fearlessly faithful through the years. I mean, through hard seasons, life seasons, and the fact that she didn't quit her journey is a really cool 9 year story. And so she has actually created a Plexus family. And I'm so, so excited for you guys to hear her story. So I'm going to start talking. Angie, we want to hear like blitzy quick version of your journey, real quick.
Okay, so it started in April of 2015. Some of you have heard this before. My mom gave me a pink drink. It was really just to see if it would help with my migraines. And oh my gosh, did it ever. I was a hard no for the business. I had done network marketing before. I was not in a season of life where that was anything that I wanted to embark upon. And I remember telling Megan, absolutely no, I'm not putting my social security number in because I know what's going to happen. I'm going to get a 1099. She was like, right? We both kind of had that mindset. And now look at us 9 years later. My health story is the products helped me tremendously with debilitating migraines, restless leg, vertigo, hormone issues, constipation. And I needed tons of energy because I had zero. I had zero. And I am so thankful that about a month in, I was seeing such great results. I started sharing with my friends. And I even said, hey, I'm not doing this as a business. My friend Jan is on here tonight and she can attest. I said, listen, if you want somebody to do a business with you, that is not me. And she was like, no way, no how, I don't want it either. And now look at us 9 years later. So thankful that I just kept the ball rolling. And I will just tell you this really quickly. I think Megan and I discovered that it was about 3 to 4 years ago that everybody had to pick a word for their year, right? And she bought us these rustic cuff bracelets, and it's a leather bracelet. I wear it all the time. It says perseverance. And every year, like, or a couple years later, I want another one. I was like, you know what? I want to give that, I want get it for me, but gift it to my friend because I want to keep perseverance. And now that bracelet means so much to me because literally I persevered. And I will say this, I have become a leader of leaders. And that is where I want to be. For so long, I was a leader of a bunch of followers. But once I shifted and became a leader of leaders, that's when a lot of things really started shifting.
So I love that. Tell us a little bit, like, did you fast start? Like, that's one of the things that you can do in Plexus now is you can go fast start silver and fast start ruby and all those things. So tell us a little bit about your journey to Emerald first. So Emerald is that rank up where you get the six-figure income, the Lexus, and the Hawaii trip. That's kind of a hallmark rank for a lot of people, and that's like their big overarching goal. So was that your initial goal when you had realize like what clicked for you from no, I'm not doing this as a business to like I'm going to keep sharing with my friends? Tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about that too.
Okay. So when I started back in 2015, the fast start, we did have a fast start, but it was totally different than what it is now. It was whatever you did in the first 30 days was considered fast start. And I remember I didn't do this, but if you got 30 or if you got 20 people in your first 30 days and they all had to order 100 PV, but you didn't get credit for it till the next month. Because when we first started, that first month you didn't get the points till they ordered the second time. And so it was 20 level ones basically, and you had to wait till the second month. So that was not even really on my radar back then. And I don't remember how quickly I hit any of those ranks, except for I know that I hit Emerald in April of 2019. And yes, hitting that six-figure income, getting my Lexus, it was so much excitement. And then the Hawaii trip, and just the other perks that come along with that. For me personally, it was such a big deal because I am not a college graduate. I started college, but then I just kept having babies and more babies. And so then like college was just off the radar. I finished college, but like Keith Callahan said, I didn't graduate, but I finished. I finished what I was doing with college and turned my focus towards my Plexus business once I hit Emerald. And I was super proud of the fact that not having a college degree and I could make a 6-figure income was so huge. And so sitting, at Emerald since 2019 until now has been, it's been a journey. It hasn't been easy, but it's been a journey.
So at what point did you decide to work this like a business? Like before you went Emerald or after?
So in my mind, I felt like before I went Emerald, I thought I was working it more like a business because I had changed some things, right? Like I got really serious about my recruiting. And I worked harder. I worked harder, not smarter, to be honest with you. I worked myself a lot. And we used to say, and sometimes we still do, we worked in the nooks and crannies of the day. I remember being on my phone late at night and in the early morning. And I'm not saying that's bad, but it's just like I really came from a background of direct sales. And so the difference in direct sales, really in network marketing, is that network marketing, you build a team, and direct sales, you sell. And so that's been my mantra, my mindset for so long. I have really thrived on being a top recruiter, getting more people in. How many people can we get started? But I was held back a lot by asking people about the business. And so once I turned that key, that's when a lot of things started changing.
Well, because one of your strengths over the years really has been recruitment. Like you can bring the people in. I mean, I've single-handedly seen Angie sign 15 people in a day to sweep a contest. Like she can make some things happen. But that shift is so important. And it's so interesting how, what would you say, like, especially in the last year, you've shifted some things. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, definitely. So I remember going to several different gold schools, and I remember Genevieve talking specifically about always leading with the business, always leading with the business, and not just in my mind, but in other Jewel's mind on these calls. People were always like, there was resistance. And in my mind and in my heart, there was resistance because I'm like, most of my friends, they don't need the business or they don't want the business. I'm deciding for people, right? And I'm imagining that probably a lot of you are deciding ahead of time for people. That's what I was doing. And so when I went to about my 4th gold school, which was last October, I went with several girls from my team. We went out to Texas, I think Austin, maybe, I can't remember exactly. And I heard her say it again. And I remember in my mind, there was a shift really had not come out of my mouth until we were on our way home. And I remember talking to my daughter-in-law, and I remember talking about, we've got to lead with the business and we've got to stop thinking about our next rank up, because my mind had been sapphire and diamond and all these things. And I'm not saying that's bad in any sense, but instead of thinking about that, I took my focus to what did my team need and how am I going to target people? I hate to say target. I don't want it to sound weird or, network marketing, but I really want to find a way in my own mind to authentically reach out to people about the business. Tell them what I see in them. Tell them the strengths that I feel like they have or what I see, right? Because over the years, I've had several people reach out to me and say, hey, like they're trying to cross recruit me. And they're like, hey, I see what you're doing. And I see this, this, and this in you. And I just kind of blew it off. But when I do that to people that I know, it lights people up. And there's just no denying that. So once I turned that and several people on my team started having that same focus after some conversation, it really started changing things for me and for my leaders. And I think that was crucial.
Well, and we've talked a little bit, just kind of rehashing like, wow, like what has been the catalyst? Like, how did the stars align, to have this back-to-back rank up? Because Angie went Sapphire Diamond back-to-back. And I told her at the beginning of the year, I think it was, that when she goes sapphire, I'm like, diamond's going to come fast right after that. Like, I really think you're going to do it back to back. And that's totally what happened. So we were just talking about like the things that you guys have done as a team the last year. And so one of the things that you've mentioned has been like expanding your network through vendor events. You guys pick vendor events, but it could be, you know, a multitude of different ways, you know, someone could expand their network. So expanding network, and then really working on your personal growth. Can you talk to both of those things and how that really set you up for an amazing, epic, double-backed rank up this
Yeah.
year?
So I would say for 2 solid years, if not almost 3, we have really focused on, my local team has focused very heavily on in-person vendor events, sip and shares. And also about 3.5 years ago, I started hosting a meeting every Tuesday night. I have the privilege of having, my husband has an office. And so we meet at my office every Tuesday. But listen, don't let that be a holdup for you, because when we first started, we met at Panera or we met at Starbucks. We met wherever we could. And come heck or high water, on Tuesday nights, I am somewhere waiting for people to show up. And there have been nights where nobody shows up. There's been nights when one person shows up, or 2 or 15, but people know every Tuesday night, unless I am not within the vicinity of Chattanooga, that I am available for people. That's been huge. And then the vendor events, every vendor event isn't great. Sometimes it rains. Sometimes the wind almost blows your tent over, like this past weekend. Sometimes it's freezing cold and you have to get a heater, or it's so blistering hot that we need fans. And sometimes we get great leads and sometimes we don't. But there have been times when we've signed up 4 or 5 people in one day, because you never know. The idea is we're telling more people about Plexus, about the products, about the opportunity, and they're seeing us over and over again. And one thing I tell my team is, I don't care if no one shows up at that vendor event. I guarantee you there are 50 other vendors. You go booth to booth. We are like Vanna White with our chargers and our little pink drinks, and we are carrying them around. We are telling people about Plexus. I can remember years ago, we used to say, you better start sharing Plexus like Amy Paul's coming to your town. Well, you know what I say? You better start sharing Plexus like Angie Ambrosetti's coming to your town, because that's what our team is doing. We literally are sharing because we want more people to know about it. And those 2 things of being in person have made a huge impact for our team. Huge.
Yeah, I mean, just hearing and seeing, because I've witnessed this on your team, like what you've created culture. Like you've created a family, a team culture, which is so beautiful to observe, and just such a blessing to everyone that's on your team. Like they're feeling supported and seeing you in person, and there's just the knee to knee, eye to eye relationships, you know, which this is a relationship business. And so the other third, I think, element to you and Madison also and your rank ups has been working on yourselves. So can you speak, let's just like dive in for a quick minute. Can we just talk about that? Because I feel like it's the elephant in the room, and the maybe that thing. I mean, there's obviously several things that contribute to like further success in this business, but our like who we are heavily impacts our team momentum. So tell us about that too.
Yeah. So I had met my life coach at an Align retreat in January of 22, 20? I can't even remember now. I guess maybe it was 22. And when I signed up for life coaching, I literally thought it was going to be all about my business. I thought I was signing up for my business. Like, this is going to transform my business. And looking back, it did. But the number one thing that it transformed for me was my mindset. There were things that I needed to address and that I needed to get out of my head. Like, you got to get out of yourself sometimes. And once I addressed those things from a personal standpoint, who I was started coming out differently. I wasn't afraid to show up anymore, because for a long time, and I know a lot of people, and even some of you on this call, you might be thinking, because I've heard people say this to me, like, that's so crazy. You're so you're so rambunctious, you're so outgoing, you're so bold in everything you do. And there's a part of that that is very true, but there was also this part of me that I was afraid to show up. Like, I would go to people's house, I would get invited somewhere to people I didn't really know. And I would sit in the car and talk to my husband and go, I can't get out of the car. Like, I'm scared. Like, I would be paralyzed by, what if I'm not enough? What if they think this of me? What if they're already in there talking about me? Like, I paralyzed myself with thinking for what other people maybe were thinking, and they probably weren't. But it literally had me in a place where I was not showing up in the right sense. And I found that I was doing that in my Plexus business as well. And so I would say that um, life coaching, personal development, mindset training, there's a lot of free resources that you can get out there. It was very important for me. And I know it was super important for Madison for things she was dealing with in her life. It was the catalyst that changed things for us. But I would say, like, and I don't get anything off of telling someone, hey, go get life coaching or whatever, because I'm telling you, there are a lot of really great free resources out there. But don't discount the fact that our mindset plays a huge, massive part on how we show up, the things that we say, the things that we believe about ourselves, the things that we believe that other people are saying or thinking about us. Oh my gosh, it is so massive. And so one of what we call, I've become a life coach now. I've been a certified life coach. And one of the things that I learned and that I'm teaching my clients now is the way in which we show up, the way in which we relate to ourselves directly creates and impacts our circumstances and our relationships. And if I would have known that 5 years ago, 9 years ago, it would have made a huge difference. But the Lord knew exactly when I needed to learn that. And so now, whenever I get stuck or I feel like, oh my gosh, I wonder what they're saying about me. Should I get out of the car? Are they already talking about me as that Plexus girl or whatever? I just remind myself the way in which I relate to myself. You know what, how I'm relating to myself now? I'm a diamond, and I'm going to relate to myself as a diamond, and I'm going to show up so that I can help and encourage and help people get where they want to go. And so for me, when I think about that, when I'm relating to myself as a daughter of the King of the universe, most importantly, because kind of at the end of the day, the diamond thing is not as big of a deal as being a child of the King. When I show up as his child and I'm confident in him because he loves me like that, it doesn't really matter what anyone else thinks. And so sometimes getting past that first part and getting to this, it's not always easy, right? I mean, raise your hand for some of you that I see on here who would go, oh my gosh, I never would have thought that you would struggle with that. Yeah. And I hear that from people a lot. But the truth is, we hide things pretty well, don't we, friends? So that life coaching piece for me has really been transformational. It's allowed me to show up in a different way for my team, for my husband, for my children, and for those customers who need what I have to offer.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Love, love. So yeah, I mean, we've been talking about this, how literally 5% of what we do is actually the skills and the action. And the other 95% is us and like working on us. And personal growth is not reading a book. It's not listening to a podcast. It's actually putting into action what you're learning. And that could come from, someone holding the mirror one-on-one in a coaching setting. It could come from listening to something, taking that knowledge and then implementing it. It could be the simplicity of like putting one foot in front of the other and actually doing this business, like taking the action and learning and growing in that, because just taking the action is going to teach us and we're going to learn. And I think that it's significant because it's not like you had like a quick blast up to diamond without any hardships, without any bobbles, without any life circumstances coming in the way. I mean, when you look at the success curve of anybody, even for someone that seemingly shoots to the top fast, there are massive amounts of lessons. There's hardships, there's setbacks. I mean, for anybody, it's not necessarily an easy thing. But I think your story of perseverance and faith and sticking with it and the grit and the awareness of at some point you realize like, you know what, I need to do some coaching, some business coaching, life coaching, and see where that takes me. So I'm so proud of you for that. And just lastly, as we wrap up, like what tip or tips would you give yourself 9 years ago, Angie, or someone that's sitting on this call going, I want to go diamond. Like I totally see the vision for that. Like what is a top tip or a couple top tips that you would give to your former self or someone on the call tonight?
Mm-hmm. So you guys are going to crack up. This is one thing I tell my team all the time. This came straight from the Santa Claus movie, but I'm claiming it. Okay. So believing is seeing. Seeing isn't believing, because we can see things a lot. Like I saw a lot of people hit diamond, hit emerald, hit sapphire, hit diamond, but I didn't really believe it was possible for me for a long, long time. But once I started believing it, that's when I could see it. And if you think during the month of April, I wasn't scared to death and I wasn't like up and down. Okay, I've announced it. So now I have to do it. Oh my gosh, I can't do it. Oh my gosh, I think I'm going to do it. Oh my gosh, I can't. I'm scared. What's going to happen? I mean, there were so many ups and downs the entire month. And on April 30th, when I woke up that morning, I was like, I don't even know if this is possible. But I had people pouring belief after belief after belief in me and boosting me up. And I'm going to tell you, we all need a cheering section. Don't ever think you don't need a cheering section. You don't need someone giving you words of affirmation, patting you on the back, giving you that atta girl. You can do it. I'm going to help you. I mean, I had so many people in my corner boosting me and encouraging me and giving me ideas and tips and all the things. And so you have to believe it and then you see it. And the other thing is, if I could go back, even from the point of once I did decide I was going to do the business, if I would have had the mindset of more people need what we have to offer instead of I'm afraid to ask them because what are they going to think about me? Or are they going to think that I think they need the money? Because literally that's what I was afraid of. Are they going to think that I think that they need the money? And then they're going to be like, what is wrong with her? Like, I've got plenty of money. Like, that's a crazy mindset to have. But that really held me back for a long, long time. And Megan and I had many conversations about that. And she would always say, you're prejudging people, which I was. I was totally prejudging them. But the thing is that when I look at it now, I'm like, there's so many people who need the community, which is something that I am super passionate about. As you know, me talking about these meetings and things that we have. Actually, my team is called Daily Joy Community because that's what I want, to build a really strong, massive community. And so having that and being able to see that there are a lot of people who want the community. There are people who want the money. There are people who need the money. There are people who it would really change their life if they took advantage of this opportunity. And so just giving people those options, I wish now I would have done that, but I can't change that, right? I can only go forward from here and help and encourage and not prejudge what other people need. And I was just telling someone today, I was reaching out to them, telling them about this call tonight, actually. And someone had said, I'm just really not interested in that. And I said, oh, I totally understand. But you know me, I'm just going to keep asking because when the time is right, you're going to remember that I'm here waiting on you. And that's just my heart. Like, I know there are people who are going to join me because there are people now. One of my best friends from high school, I watched her do other businesses along the way, and I supported her and she supported me along the way. And then I was paying close attention and I noticed that I didn't see her posting about her business for about a month or so. So I reached out to her and I told her what I saw in her. She joined me last month. I told her I wanted her for the business. She joined me. She added 9 people. She's coming to my diamond party this weekend. She's going to convention with me. And I'm like, what if I hadn't have said, hey, I notice I'm paying attention because somebody else was pursuing her about another opportunity. So be aware. Watch for those dream teamers. One last thing. I remember Megan asking me years ago, who's on your dream team list? And you know what I said? I'm so embarrassed to even say this. I don't really have anyone on my dream team list. And she said, you need to go find people who are better than you and you need to be pursuing them. And I'm so glad that I took that piece of advice because I have found several people. Last month, I got 5 level 1 newbies that are working, that hit silver or above in 1 month. And like, that's pretty exciting for me because like I said, I'm a heavy recruiter, but I'm not always a heavy duplicator of my level 1s. And so thank you, Megan, for always pouring that into me and reminding me to do that. Whoops, you're muted.
Sorry, I thought I clicked it. It's been a journey because we've grown up and like learned together because we kind of came in the back door for products, started to casually share organic, you know, kind of working in business, but not really. And so I think we've grown into those shoes of like, heck yeah, we're network marketers. Yes, we love these products. Yes, we love this business. 99% of people need our products. 99% of people walking around on the earth today need our business opportunity. So why would we not be sharing both things boldly, loudly, proudly, all the things? And, you know, I think the beautiful thing is those of you who are learning and listening and just maybe starting a business right now with Plexus is that you are on an amazing Plexus team, like the best team in Plexus. I'm just going to say it and say it out loud. We are the best Plexus team. And I'm so, so proud of just the growth. Like we're learning, we're growing, we're pivoting where we need to pivot. And if you've been in Plexus and you've built a business, you can build it better going forward. Angie and I are building on top of what we built and excited to impact more lives and excited to impact more people and leading with the business now. Because guess what, you guys? We can impact more people, exponentially more people by leading with the business. The product, we already know the products are good. We're already amazing at sharing the products. Like we do that. But then sharing the business opportunity is only going to exponentially and increase legacy, impact, all the things. And so I'm so excited, so proud. Angie, congratulations, my friend. Thank you for being on and sharing your story with us.
Thank you.